Every single day, Ho Chi Minh City discharges 9,300 tons of waste. 60 to 70% of that is organic waste, which all goes to the landfill. But 3 years ago, a young entrepreneur named Phuc came up with a business model that closed the loop of waste to food. And today we're gonna meet the man behind that inspiring business model. Welcome to another episode of our podcast series. Let's go. You really care about the rural farmers, about the sustainable farming practices, and also the waste issue in urban cities. So why is that important to you?
So usually the society thinks in terms of linear, like when we produce something, then we use it and then we dump it, and then it becomes waste. Now it's no longer acceptable in this society because resources are limited, and we need to use it very carefully. But at the same time, the economic growth is still happening at fast growth rate. So how to combine that? In this case, the circular economy idea just popped into my mind, and we must design the whole new way to capture the value chain of waste. Yeah, so that's why we call it close the loop from the waste to table. So it's no longer waste, it's just the resources or the byproduct circulate themselves and become like the new resources again.
So about circular economy, about closing the loop from waste to food, what does that look like in Green Connect?
So when we work with a lot of business partner, we realize that they're dumping waste, but at the same time they have to pay money to dump waste. And I just ask myself, if that waste become more valuable, more resourceful, will they dump it? And which make me link different kind of ideas together. For example, the shared value. The shared value means that both parties can have a win-win relationship. For example, if the waste is treated nicely and more efficiently, they will no longer pay a lot of money for some company to come and pick up their waste and then dump the waste. If some company can use that waste and circulate that waste to a new level, it creates the resources for that company. But that time, both will save a lot of money, and that creates a whole new economy. So basically, for example, when I work with business partner, they care a lot about how they can upcycle their waste. For example, one big business, a hotel chain in Ho Chi Minh City, 5-star hotel chain, they are now upcycling only 15% of their waste. And they have 3 persons trying to do that at the corporate level. However, with our support, they can upcycle up to 70%. So for the first is they can save a lot of money, and the second, they can upcycle their waste, and which help them comply with the law. And the third one, we also train them, then train the employees for them to practice that together. And at the same time, in-house, they can do it at a much faster rate with a new treatment, with a new sorting method, with a new segregation method. They can treat more waste more efficiently that way.
So you mentioned that one of the source of input for your production is the waste from hotels and restaurants. So what happened next to these organic waste?
So the organic waste, they used to be dumped in landfill with the traditional outdated method. However, when we come into the game, we try to ask them, the first step is to segregate the waste by trying to use our sorting system, the container, to sort the waste and putting in different areas of the restaurant, many areas. And then we come and collect them with our truck and fleet system at night. And we bring back the waste to our facility, and that time, the next morning, we treat that waste with different kind of methods. For example, black soda fly larva treatment or fermentations or physical or chemical treatment to make the waste become much more usable for animal and become the animal feed. And by that time, the waste has much more value than dumping into landfill. And the secret here is that we create the logistics system and the distance, like from the source of waste to the demand of waste. For example, from the hotel to our facility must be very close to one another. In this case, it's about 13 kilometers away. from each other, which means it's much shorter than the distance to the landfill area. Yeah.
So you said that by having a production facility closer to the city, you can also save transportation time. So I think there's a reduction of carbon footprint there also, right?
Yeah. So logistic costs, I think they account for around 25% of the total cost. And by saving the transport costs, by trying to build a facility next to the source of waste, we can reduce a lot of petrol. And at the same time, the carbon footprint will be reduced. And by avoid dumping waste into a landfill, if we upcycle it into animal feed, we can also the carbon footprint emitted. For example, the methane is a very poisonous gas that leak out from the waste area and landfill, and they are more than 23 times more poisons and create more carbon footprint than CO2. And by making them into the animal feed, we can save that kind of carbon footprint emitted into the environment. Yeah.
It's very interesting to hear that there are several ways that you are processing these waste with black soldier fly, with a fermentation process. So what do you do with the output of this process?
So the waste after processing, they became the fresh or the dried animal feed. So when they become the animal feed, we can feed them to chicken, we can feed them to duck, we can feed them to any kind of animal, including the black soldier fly larva. And by that time, if we raise the edible in that way, we can save some costs. Instead of buying the feed from some company, now we make our own feed and we save money too. And when we provide the chicken and the duck eggs and the duck food to the restaurant group, so which means that the waste from them, now we process them, it becomes the final product and we provide back that product to them, which means to close the loop from waste to table.
It's amazing to hear that how your supplier of the input is actually your customer as well when they buy the end product of the process. So with this idea of Green Connect, what do you see the company in 5 years? So with this big vision that you have for Green Connect, do you see any big challenges that the company is facing or yourself is facing?
So every day, in fact, I face a lot of challenge. My team face a lot of challenging, ranging from operations to the marketing side, to the partnership, and to the technical level. For example, in terms of technical challenges, we face a lot of difficulty trying to treat different kind of waste. Some of them are very wet, very high moisture content, which makes it very difficult to transport, and use different kind of material to make it dry. And then we make it become animal feed. It's not easy at all, and it is time consuming. So we're trying to find some solution to bypass that by trying to use different kind of animal combinations, because some animal can eat very wet, some dry, but some animal can eat wet. For example, duck can eat wet. Yeah. So other challenge maybe is about marketing. When the customer, when they hear about waste, and when they hear about the term from waste to table, they feel it's a very disgusting process. So how can we eat waste? That's the first in their mind. So the marketing team have to change their, have tried to do some campaigns for them to experience the waste to table process, and in the very premium way. When they eat the chicken meat or chicken eggs, they feel it's premium at all because very tasty compared to the industrial eggs. They are much more tasty. Over time, they feel familiar with the process, and they share with their friends, word of mouth, and the friends start using the product, and they start to change their behavior over time, which means it takes some time. For the business partner, at the same time, when they hear the first company doing or partnering with us, they hesitate to cooperate with us. But after a few months, when they hear that the other partner make a lot of improvement in terms of waste management, for example, from 15% to 70%, they start to think again, they think twice and they choose us. So which make me, the whole team celebrate with that. The first case of success, it breeds the second success, and it helps, again and again in the future. Other difficulty is in terms of logistics. Like they're much more heavy, and by segregation, the waste is now more easier to carry, but it's heavy, and we're using a lot of manual work to carry the waste, and which make our team, like in the future, have to think different kind of technology to carry the waste and to transport it at a much efficient way than now. We are still thinking about that. Yeah.
So with these challenges, what do you think that you and your team need to address the challenges?
So for now, we really need more business partners trust us and choose our service to become their waste management partner. By that, we have more, capacity. We have more revenue. We can help a lot more businesses in the future. And the second, becoming our waste management partner. Now they become even further than that. They buy our product for their restaurant, for the customer, and use our product. By that, we have the second stream of revenue, and we can improve our capacity in the future. Yeah, and we are really expanding across Vietnam. For example, in the center of Vietnam, in the north of Vietnam, we now have a lot of business partners need us there, and we just need some seed investment to scale up our capacity at the rural area in central and the north of Vietnam, where a lot of business group they are there in the municipality and in rural area. A lot of them are there, and we just need to be there with them to help them solve their problem. Yeah, and create a win-win solution for both parties.
From investor point of view, a business model should be financially viable on itself. So, do you think that Green Connect has that too?
So in this kind of share value chain, we create the value for the partner, and we create the value for themselves. For example, from the animal feed that we create from waste, we feed them to chicken, and we create a premium chicken egg. We call it cage-free chicken. And in Vietnam, we are a very few partner who can produce that cage-free premium chicken. For example, now Maru Chocolates is now one of our customers, and in the future, a lot of our other partners are asking for that. And by that, we mean that the revenue from the cage-free chickens, they are more than enough to help break even, or even getting them profitable in the future, which makes me feel very confident with that, because they are in very high demand now, and some of the other business in Hong Kong also place an order to us, and we don't have enough chicken eggs, cage-free chicken eggs to provide to them, which means we really need to expand our capacity to produce more chicken eggs, cage-free one, selling to them in the future.
From your sharing, I'm very inspired about the business model of Green Connect. It's not only commercially viable, it's also financially viable, and also very sustainable in terms of impact. Now, can you, show me what the actions really look like, the production side?
Okay, let's go for it. Yeah.
So I know that you went to Harvard, you got your CFA, you brought Teach for Vietnam here. So you have all these exciting projects and opportunities for you. But why did you choose to do Green Connect, and what keeps you to stay with the business since then?
Yeah. What keeps me awake at night, like seeing something very pressing social things, I just cannot sleep very well, and we have to do something about it, and someone must do something about it. If not me, then who will do it? And Teach for Vietnam was a successful project, but 7 years ago, and now it needs a new leader, and I have to continue to do something, just evolve myself into new projects to solve new issues, and I choose environmental and agricultural things to solve it. So Green Connect was born into life to solve some circular economy issues facing Vietnam, waste dumping a lot around Vietnam and big cities. So just choose Green Connect to do it. Yeah.
Phuc, thank you a lot for inviting me here today. Show me the production facility, your farm, share with me about your business model. It's amazing impact. Personally, I learned a lot through this trip, and I understand more about the concept of waste to food. And I believe that through time, consumer will understand that as well, and they will buy more products with this sustainable impact. Personally, I believe in the future of this business model and also of Green Connect. I wish you a lot of success and best of luck in the future.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for your support so far to make this successful and in the future. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.